From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon on Afternoons LA with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 this Friday afternoon. In this recording, we're going to go over the breaking news about that fourth stimulus check the Democrats still want to give you, how much they want you to give you, and when they want to give it to you. We'll be going over the breaking news and explaining for the first time on Afternoons LA what happened yesterday. 2 paths, 2 bills, well, actually almost 3 bills. And we're going to go over the voting process now inverted and all that you need to know across the board. It's all great news and nothing has changed for you, just it's a little bit more elaborate. And I'll explain it to you in this recording so you can understand it. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with another stimulus check and raising your benefits of a lifetime. And breaking news this morning as a new economic indicator came in suggesting inflation is red hot, hotter than even thought the week before. Then we cut to thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get. One viewer got $12,000 this week, another viewer got $10,000, and over the last few weeks, viewers continually get $5,000 to $10,000, $15,000. It's your day to get as well. It's a big afternoon. It's a big day. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. But first, the breaking news, and this is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. Going to the casino? I will see you there. Just save some $12 ice cream for me. In this recording, we're going to be going over a lot. But first, how's the weather for you? Jump in the live chat and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuning in from. It's incredibly sunny today, as you can notice, in Southern California. Very cool here in Santa Monica. Actually, much cooler than just a few days ago. But super sunny, like blinding sun. So there you go. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we'll be going over the breaking news from yesterday and still happening today. I'll explain how this is going and where it's going. It's all incredible, great news for you. I'll be breaking it down so you understand. First part of this video, we'll be going over how much are the stimulus checks at issue that the Democrats want you to have. Second part of this video, we will be going over the breaking news that happened yesterday. And the third part of the fourth stimulus check, updated 2021, we'll be going over the voting process, which is actually the biggest topic of discussion. Not so much the substance, but how and when. Then we're going to cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime, and a new benchmark, inflation, and that inflation rate was updated this morning with breaking news. I'll have all that as well. It's wonderful. It's additionally. And then we cut to the great news as viewers continue to get more money, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 across the board. You're killing it. That's what I want you to be doing. I want you to be getting those big monies, and I'm going to show you how to get it as well. And this is LALATE, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Right after this video is Evenings LA. This video will take you automatically into that video when this video is over. And that's followed by Overnight's Crypto, our new hit show on this channel that just runs at least 15 hours. Just 15 hours. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel, so hit that subscribe button. And thank you for the last few days being our biggest days of subscriber growth recently. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And it also delivers you VIP tickets to the casino. And consider becoming a new member. The member link is at the top of the chat. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats still want to give you. Senate versus House. Let's compare the details across the board so you understand how this works. House bill, Senate proposal, here we go. House bill from Jalopal, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks. Senate proposal, stimulus checks to July to December. House bill, payouts are different. $1,000 after the first month, $2,000 the first month. Senate proposal, monthly amount unknown, but word on the street is the senators want to pay you this. OMG. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. That's delicious. That's deliciousness right there. But is there a wrinkle? Yeah, it's this thing, the pandemic plus 1 year. If you're on the live chat, just right now after 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. So, pandemic plus 1 year, well, that's a wrinkle because the legislators may contend the pandemic is over. If they contend the pandemic is over, then that would reduce the House bill to, in essence, 12 months of 12 checks. As you know, that's $13,000. Let's compare that now to the senators over 6 months. And I hit the wrong graphic. That one. Wow. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. Which one do you like, House or Senate? And tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Also, tell me about your plans for the weekend. All right, let's go over who gets that fourth stimulus check. The Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So that is you. If you make less than $75,000, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, single individual. Married couple, $150,000 or less, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, double it. Marry a family of 4, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, those Democrats. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. There you go. The fourth stimulus check is non-income, so it ain't taxable. And the fourth stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check. It doesn't come in waves. So if you see the stimulus check at the beach this weekend and you try to wave at it, hey, check, I see you got that new suntan lotion. How you doing? It's you're missing a spot there. And the check doesn't wave back at you. Don't think the check is rude. It just is not a waveable check. Darn rude check. I hope you burn up. It's not a rude check. It just doesn't sunbathe well. It burns also. You know, it's all that green, is it? So here you go. The monthly untannable check would come in the month of July, for the month of July, with a side of some sunblock. The Democrats would ensure that you get the check in the month of August with some SPF 15 with it as well. And the fourth stimulus check would go to a vote and Chuck Schumer represents by July 4th. Well, there you go. That is your first of your 3 parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. The second and third parts are going over the breaking news that's happening in the last 24 hours and today. In the second part, we'll be going over what's going on with these 2 paths. I'll be explaining the 2 paths across the board that you need to understand to figure out where things are. I'll be going over the new graphics on this channel that explains where the stimulus checks are and where the different paths are. And then the third part of the stimulus package, fourth stimulus package update, I will be going over the voting process, which is inverted. So that's coming up as well. But first, let's get a preview of the second half of this video, which is fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall with a raising up of your benefits a lifetime and a new benchmark. But that incredible breaking news is that today we had more details from Wall Street and the Department of Labor suggesting inflation is red hot. Red hot, more hot than the check burning on the beach. So that's coming up in the second half of this video because it'll raise your benefits up a lot. Plus a fifth stimulus check. That's coming up. But let's get some money. It's Friday, and you need to have some money because you need to buy some suntan lotion for that check. Get a pen and paper ready, and if it must be a Crayola crown, it has to be purple today. There's no Crayola blue today. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to get you a lot of money in this video, and stay with me to the very end. Viewers are getting a lot of money, and I'm loving you. You are following the advice of this channel. If you're new to this channel, this is what this channel does. It gets this channel people money. We don't track checks here. We cash checks because there's a lot of money for you to cash and to sit around with your hand out for a stimulus check when you could be cashing tens of thousands of dollars of checks right now is ill-advised. So get that pen and paper ready and Crayola crown, and let's get to the details. We're going to be going over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. And the rent is a lot of money. It's about $5,000 of rent that you can get, 4 to 6 months of rent. But I say about 5,000. One viewer this week got 12,000. Another viewer this week got 10,000. That's not unusual because in fall of 2020, when we were waiting for second stimulus to pass, I did this as well. And I got viewers $250,000 of money. Viewers were getting $15,000 routinely, $10,000 routinely, like Tyrone and his family of four out of Boston got $15,000. I've been giving people money since day one on this channel, getting viewers $25 million of EIDL loans to save their business, their homes, and their family, and their business, and their employees' homes as well. But now it's time to get some big money. So get that pen and paper ready. Each place has different eligibility. So if you reach out to one, it says, no, don't worry, reach out to the next. Okay, you're ready? Here we go. For that rent, you're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID, or homeowners utilities because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know. You don't say words that they don't know. Like stimulus, they don't know that word. Or Mitch's aerobics class. Excuse me? Jazzercise? I can't visualize that. I don't think I want to visualize Mitch McCullough's jazzercise class. I don't want that visual. Don't do that. So there you go. They don't know those words. And they'll probably hang up the phone on you if you mention that to them. So say the correct words. Now, the next pot of the money is wonderful. If you got in a penny from this channel, or 1,000 pennies, or 100,000 pennies, because I got in that as well. Jump in the live chat and tell viewers what you got, because it inspires other viewers. Thank you for the wonderful people who've been sending me private messages on Facebook and Twitter as well. That inspires me additionally. And this next pot of the money has been big success stories. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom. Gail got it. This last week, one viewer got 5,000. The week before, one viewer got 6,000 to 7,000. What is it? It's Snap. And it's just wonderful. It's one of the big success stories of this channel. SNAP is money for food. How do you get this money for food? Department of Agriculture. Call them up directly. Department of Agriculture. And the eligibility is generally the same as about a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A fortune. It's based upon where you live, but in the state of Hawaii, a family of four can get upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And you're killing it. I'm killing it. We're all killing it. $15,000, $16,000 for rent, for SNAP, for a family of four in Hawaii. $5,000 for rent, approximately, with the exception of those viewers who are getting $10,000 and $15,000. We're all killing it, except the check that's, burning up. Yeah, get some suntan lotion on. You get a little red there. No one likes a red check. This is not Russia, There you go. Well, I got more money for you, and we're only at the 12-minute mark, and that's money coming back from your states. The states are returning a lot of money back to viewers when they had overpaid them initially due to computer error. Not their computers, not our computers, their computers. What's going on? The federal government has ordered states to return money back to you where the states had overpaid you initially for unemployment due to their computer error. Well, the federal government has ordered the states to return the money back to you and fix their darn computers. So where are you getting it? To the account you have on file. How can you track the money? Call up your state's unemployment office and say, when am I getting my check due to the computer error you had? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? There you go. And finally, our last pot of money is that refund check coming back from IRS. It's wonderful news. That refund check coming back from IRS is landing. Michael got it. Margaret got it. Ka got it. How much, where is it, and when you're going to get it? Let's go over all the details. First, how much is it? Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment assistance. You paid $5,000 of toll taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. When are you getting it? This month. Can you, where? A direct deposit, if that was on the tax return like CODS was, or by the mail. Can you track it? Yeah. About 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov. Set up a username and password. Go in and do a transcript search. And when you do it, you'll be shocked what fascinating information you'll find. You will find the taxes you filed, the tax check you paid, the name for that color in that Crayola box that makes no sense, but it matches Nancy's hairstyle. And then you'll also see the refund check you're getting back from IRS. And there you go. And what's more better than news than that is your second part of your three parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. Here we go. So let me go over where we are on fourth stimulus. Let me first give you the broad stroke summary, and then we'll go over the details. Broad stroke summary is your stimulus checks have not moved. They're in the same place. What has moved is stuff that has nothing to concern you. Roads and bridges, unless you own a bridge, it doesn't really concern you. Those have been moved somewhere else. So good, get out of here. I don't want to see a bunch of darn bridges. Your stuff hasn't moved at all. Has your supporters of your stuff moved? No, they haven't moved. Has the voting process of your stuff moved? It's been inverted. That's in the third part of this video. It's going the reverse way. Very strange. I'll explain that in a second. Has anything been sort of anchored different about this whole process? Slightly. So let me go over what happened. This week, the president, I almost said something. Okay, I'll say it. I was headlining a fiction novel because he came out and said, I have a deal. He had no deal. So what did he do? He did much of nothing. What he did was the following. Today is Friday, and yesterday he made an announcement on Thursday. But the night of Wednesday, he met with Nancy and Chuck, and they both briefed him that there was an issue, that everything was currently in the reconciliation. The only item that I talk about on this channel. Everything was in the reconciliation. The roads, the bridges, the checks, the climate, the CARES economy, everything was in there. And they did not have enough Democratic senators, only senators, to pass it that way, which is different than what they had told us. Yeah, they had said they had enough Democratic senators. So the Democratic senators had told them that if they took parts out and separated into two paths, they could potentially get it passed. But they could not pass one thing by itself. They would have to pass it as two separate parts. So the president, Nancy, and Chuck agreed that Wednesday night before a Thursday meeting with a bipartisan group that they would need to do a two-path process. And that became this. The reconciliation, which was the original reconciliation, and the bipartisan path. What happened? That basically, it's sort of like a TV show of a spinoff. You had the original recon, but then there were certain parts in that recon that didn't really belong there. So they took it off and they spun it off as a separate show. So the separate show is the bipartisan path. You notice the words I'm using here are very clearly defined. Path. I'm not calling it bill because there actually is no bill yet drafted, but they're hoping to have bills. So let's go over what the bills would be. The potential bills will be the reconciliation procedural bill, which you always heard me talk about in the 9 voting steps process. That was step 1 to 4. The reconciliation substantive bill, which you always heard me talk about. That's where checks, climate, CARES economy would be. And the partisan bill. So in splitting this into two paths, where is your stuff? The same place it was before. So let's go to the recon. Number 1. What is in the recon? Still the 4 stimulus. And that is checks, climate, CARES economy, everything that is very, very progressive. More about the other items in there in a second. The second path is the bipartisan path. What is in the bipartisan path? Stuff that was taken out of the original recon and spun off like a spin-off of a TV series. And what has been spun off? Roads and bridges. The very, very mundane nuts and bolts type of stuff. Roads and bridges. So now we have two paths. Recon, the original recon, which is all your stuff from before, still where it is, and the stuff that has been removed from recon and put into the bipartisan bill, which is roads and bridges. Pretty easy to follow, I think, with the graphics. I think the graphics really help. I did not have graphics when the announcement was made because it was a quick announcement. Now it's easier when I show up with graphics. All right, so that's pretty easy to understand. What's important to understand is that, and you're hearing this for the first time on Afternoons LALATE as well, there's a lot of breaking news in this recording, is that the fourth stimulus, the path number 1, actually has a lot of other stimulus in there. Wonderful stimulus that you've never heard from before on this channel. So remember how I told you that Richard Neal wanted additionally, notice how I'm saying that word very clearly because I don't want anyone to come back and say it's just that. No, additionally. Remember how Richard Neal wanted to make those children's checks a lifetime? They're now talking that is in the fourth stimulus. They're also talking that all the progressive welfare reform stimulus items are in fourth stimulus. So how do you look at the two packages? Well, you look at for stimulus, the reconciliation, as really encompassing all the progressive policies. And the reason why this is wonderful news is because, uh, and the reason why this is not a surprise, but also wonderful news, is because Jalapal's comments a week ago today signaled this. Remember, I told you Jalapal Schatz, a Democrat of Hawaii, who's also a progressive, had comments last Friday? And I said what their comments were, that they had reassured the president that they're keeping all the president's progressive policies in the reconciliation. And to which the president said, I love you, progressives. I'm going to watch your back on your progressive policies. Well, now this makes very clear sense, because what are the progressive policies? The progressive policies the president adamant must have in his recon is climate, on the part of the right's part of this graphic, and the CARES economy. What are the progressive policies that the progressive House members, like Jalapal, are so far indicating they're adamant to have in there? Checks, and checks. So progressive policies is all recon. Recon is progressiveness. And if there was ever a time that you're really seeing progressives potentially win, it's today. Because the progressives' policies, which are also the president's policies, are all going into recon. The recon is seen as a big progressive, or as one analyst said, social welfare bill. As the president's staffer said, the White House told Schatz that the White House considers the progressive priorities the White House's own progressive priorities in the forced stimulus. That is why the two paths are clearly quite different. Forced stimulus, which is in recon, has always been in recon, is now able to be much more progressive than it was before, because remove and separate in a different path is now bipartisan, which is roads and bridges. Roads and bridges, bipartisan. Boring, GOP. And then progressives, this stuff, forced stimulus. I think it's very clear. I think my difficulty, my worry was I was not going to be able to make something very unclear clear, and I think I've done it. I think I've done a pretty good job for it. The graphics certainly help. How did we get to the spot? Jalapal, of course. And I got this personal message right here. I just think Jalapal is going to be the next Speaker of the House. I just think if you read articles, she's everywhere. She's absolutely everywhere, and everyone's loving what she's doing. So it's great that the champion of your stimulus checks is literally front page news. And people are asking, where's Nancy? You don't hear her. I mean, she clearly has the power, but Jalapal is really pushing everything. She's doing a great job. So how do we get this point? Jalapal. Again. So Jalapal wrote that letter to Chuck about 3 weeks ago, saying Chuck called a vote on the recon. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are among the 100-plus House Democrats who wrote the president a letter saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting forced stimulus checks to the forced stimulus package. Wow, can we get better than that? We can, as 7 House Democrats. And this letter is going to be very important for the third part of this update. 7 House Democrats in a House subcommittee said, we're going to be writing forced stimulus checks on the forced stimulus package. Well, who are they to say that? That's wonderful, but who are they to say that? They're on the House subcommittee who wrote the first stimulus checks, the second stimulus checks, the third stimulus checks, and they're currently claiming they're writing the forced stimulus checks. That's a House subcommittee. Wow, that's wonderful news. Can we top that? Yes, they claim that they're also going to be writing fifth stimulus checks. OMG. Can we top that? Yes, as the president did it. About 2 weeks ago, the president of the United States, Joe Biden, did it. He went overseas and got an international agreement anchoring forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line. Let me explain why this is credible news. And I'm going to explain in the context of yesterday's developments with our graphics now. The president is paying for the recon part of forced stimulus by raising the corporate taxes in America. You see why this is very important. And he's doing that by raising the corporate taxes. But he was concerned by raising corporate taxes, corporations may move overseas. Well, the president had an idea. Let's reach out to those other countries overseas that have lower corporate tax rates and have them raise them. And they tentatively said yes. To which he reached out to his staffer and said, I like how this is going. Can we bring Jill's potpourri to those countries in Christmas? It just smells delicious. It smells better than San Francisco hairstyles. And bring it to them, and then have them, come out and sign this into law. Well, He surprised us all because the President of the United States went overseas 2 Saturdays ago and got it signed into law before forced stimulus, which is wonderful news. It anchors forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line because now the provisions about international taxes are no longer needed in forced stimulus. They're in the international agreement, making it easier to pass forced stimulus among the Democratic caucus. And there you go. That is your second of your 3 updates of forced stimulus of this video. In the third part, we're going to be going over the voting process, which is actually the most important part for a lot of the discussions today. I'll be explaining it because it's reverse. It's totally new, and you're going to see the details on this afternoon's broadcast. And then we cut to fifth stimulus with the breaking news from the Department of Labor suggesting today, new detail today, that inflation is red hot. That could raise your benefits a lot and give you a fifth stimulus for next year. And then first, some more wonderful news. The volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or SNAP, reach out to them. They truly embody the Purple Power spirit. Viewers helping viewers. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description, and then you'll find the volunteers. There's an emoji of a house, and it says community page. Click the link to go to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community page. The community page has a picture of some kitty cats. Lower on the community page are the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They cannot give you directions to the casino. They cannot give you VIP tickets to the casino. They cannot give you Sirloin's cell phone number. They cannot give you directions to the San Francisco hairstyle. But they can get you rent, utilities, and SNAP and help with all that. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with more exciting details about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on afternoons LALATE as the surf is up and so is the stimulus. We'll be going over the latest news you need to know about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus as we go into the weekend. And the weekend's going to be a big news cycle, so don't leave me this weekend. All the legislators are going to be on Talk News this weekend. You know they are. So I'll have a lot of updates across the board this weekend. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over the more that you need to know about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. But subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Fastest growing YouTube channel in America, 400,000 subscribers in 1 year, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Also, like this video. Every like helps in the algorithm ranking. That helps this video rank higher. And also messes up the backdrop. What'd I do to the backdrop? What'd I do to my backdrop? There we go. And consider becoming a member. So you see how I do things correctly and incorrectly. There we go. Boy, there was some surf behind me. I felt like I was in some surfing show. All right, in the second half of this video, we'll be going into a lot of details. But also, stay with this video. It sends you automatically into Evenings LALATE right after this video. All right, let's go over everything that you need to know in the surprising developments this afternoon. Well, this morning, the Labor Department released new numbers, and it showed inflation was red hot. red hot, hotter than anticipated. Earlier this week, the Federal Reserve Chair said that he thought that inflation is going to reach its spike around December. Yes. This is huge because this is exactly what you want for fifth stimulus. What is fifth stimulus? First, they're going to be giving you an additional fifth stimulus check, those Democratic House members indicate. The fifth stimulus check will start in January. The legislation for it will start drafting in September, and the fifth stimulus check would go to a vote by October, November, December-ish. People have been asking me questions. How much is this check? Is it monthly? It's likely monthly. I don't know details about how it works, though, yet. They haven't told us. Second, the president has indicated that he's dedicating $1 billion in his budget to the Social Security Administration to ensure you get checks going forward on time. This is fourth stimulus, this is fifth stimulus, and this is your benefits checks. Which brings us now to fifth stimulus. Well, we all know how fifth stimulus SSI reform will work. It'll first raise your benefits up a lifetime and then apply a new benchmark. And we know that benchmark is inflation, and we know that inflation is going up. But when is it going up, and how high is it going up? This week, we had a lot of indicators that are absolutely wonderful news. The Fed head, Wall Street, the CPI, the PPI, and the new labor number released today all now indicate that the highest point of inflation will be exactly when they apply your benefits benchmark of new inflation in December. This is huge. All that remains of the permutation that we need to wonder about is that they get the legislation passed and how high that inflation rate will be. Many Wall Street analysts believe the inflation rate will be upwards of 10% from a current level they think is currently around 4%. SSI reform will raise your benefits up, then add an inflationary benchmark, remove the asset limit, add the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. How does this calculate for you? First, they will give you one big lift for everyone on benefits. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, survivor benefits, and multiple benefits. One benefit lift under fifth stimulus. That's the only time you'll get that big lift. Then they will apply the benchmark every December for the next year's benefits. The new benchmark, inflation. The benefits being applied for next year. Inflation going up. Highest point in December. We all know those details, but how much? Well, let's say it's 10%. That would raise your benefits not just next year 10%, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So even if the inflation rate steps down next year, your benefits will always be at plus 10%. And then the year after that, the inflation rate is 1%, then you'll be at plus 1 plus 10%. It's wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have more than $3,000 in hand. Actually, some stimulus checks and a taco. And then you'll be able to work because they're going to remove the income cap. If you want to work, you will be able to work, and that income cap dating back to a 1960s law will be going away. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You no longer fear loss of benefits. And viewers like Sandy and Rob will be able to get married. And there you go. But boy, there is a lot of money in third stimulus, tens of thousands of dollars that you can get, a lot of money in fifth stimulus, and a lot of money in fourth stimulus as well. How do you learn what all that money is? By becoming a member. Members are delivered daily from me PDFs that break down all the money that is in third stimulus and proposed in fourth and fifth stimulus. That's how viewers are getting $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 from this channel. Go to the top of the chat and consider becoming a member right away. The member link's at the top of the chat and also in the description. Daily, I deliver to you via the YouTube community page a breakdown of all that money. Viewers are cashing checks on this channel, and big checks, not tracking small, minuscule stimulus checks, and nor being dependent upon the stimulus checks. They're cashing $10,000 checks across the board. It's your day to be that as well. All right, let's cut to our final update, our third part of our fourth stimulus check of 2021. In this recording, you've learned that there are two paths of what was originally one path, that the recon has been splintered into recon plus now bipartisan. You've learned that there are going to be three separate bills: the recon procedural, the recon substantive bill, and the bipartisan. You've learned that everything that was in recon for you and the American citizen is still in recon, and that the only things that have been taken out of recon are things that don't concern you, like roads and bridges. So what is also new for this Friday, the voting process. And what I want to say to you very frankly, personal message right off the board, is I don't think they know what it is yet. They are having problems explaining it. Number one, the voting process, not what's in there, but the voting process. Two, there is a lot of journalists who are covering and saying it doesn't make sense. Number three, any viewer who's been a viewer of this channel for over a year sees this is nothing we've ever seen before. It's very strange. So right on its face, it looks weird. Number four, they can still get stimulus checks out in the month of July. So I know that's the biggest question you're asking. So how does a bill become law? A bill becomes law by starting generally in the House, then to the Senate, and then to the President. Bills can also start in the Senate, go to the House, and then go to the President. Bill has to pass both the House and the Senate to become a law. But generally in the past, they started in the House. What's also really important for you to know is that first stimulus, second stimulus, and third stimulus all started in the House, then went to the Senate. What's also important for you to know is that we've also seen that the third stimulus this spring, earlier this year, was a reconciliation process that followed a very sort of clean path to the finish line. It started in House subcommittees. As you heard them early in this video, House subcommittee members writing the president a letter saying, we are currently writing stimulus checks. Then out of the House subcommittees into the House floor, out of the House floor to the Senate, where there's a 2-day vote-a-rama and they make amendments. And then if there are amendments, back to the House for a few hours to approve it, which they always do, just procedural, and then back to the president. Well, the fact that they're starting in the Senate is a little peculiar. The starting process and the ending process are what is new on this afternoon's broadcast. What are they doing? First, new is the path in which they're voting on this is different as opposed to 24 hours ago. They will be starting in the Senate and they will be ending in the House. Does this mean anything different for you? No, but the situation is still very fluid. Why is it fluid? And here I have to insert some personal thoughts about this as well, which I don't usually do. It's a little peculiar, and it looks from the optics so far that they don't know really how to be doing this. They have been working on the recon drafting in the House subcommittees, as the House subcommittees taking the lead and the Senate subcommittees watching and being interactive. They're all Democratic-led, so they're all the same party. They all have the same interests. They all have the same desires. But the fact that we're starting the Senate means it would come out of the Senate subcommittees to the Senate floor. A little bit strange, a little bit unusual. Anything to worry about? No. Anything to worry about that the people who wrote those letters were House subcommittee members, not Senate subcommittees? No, because there were enough letters from senators that said much the same thing. So I'm not worried that it's coming out of House subcommittees than Senate subcommittees. It's the end process that people are having some questions about, and I'm having questions about as well. News reporters yesterday couldn't explain it because they thought it was weird. And today they're saying it's very weird. What is the end process? The end process is saying that let me pull up the graphic for this one. The White House, which has not been particularly, how would you say, transparent or accurate or truthful about the whole thing, has been saying that one will go with the other. That there will be two paths and they'll be simultaneous. They will start simultaneously and they'll end simultaneously. Journalists and myself say, I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what that means. So I think what they're saying is that when they're all passed, they'll all be on the table of the White House in the Oval Office. And the president will sit there and he'll have recon on one table, on one side of the table, and bipartisan on the other side of the table, and he'll say, sign, sign, done. I think that's what he's thinking. Journalists are having problems covering the subject because it's a little peculiar. I cannot recall a time in which I heard of a bill and a recon having to be done simultaneously. Now, let me go over what this having to be done language is. It's very peculiar because it's basically saying that they don't want to just do recon and they don't want to just do bipartisan. They want to do both at the same time. So it's turning into a little bit more of a personality move where they're saying, they're going to be pooling their Democratic senators. This is all a play about, do they have enough senators? It has nothing to do with the House. Do they have enough senators? So they're basically saying, senators, here is recon, here is bipartisan. And look at both of them, and do you agree? Yeah, I agree. You got my vote because I will do this and I'll do this. I will do both. It's sort of peculiar. It's like you're going to a restaurant and say, will you order 2 entrees? Or we split 2 entrees. Yeah, I'll split 2 entrees and I'll order them at the same time. So that's what they're actually trying to do. So there you go. Narratives. Now that you see how different, elaborate, it was complex until I guess I explained it, that this whole thing has now become, what I need you to know is you have to stay positive and you have to really stay informed. My viewers from day one have been very, very intelligent, educated, smart, well-reversed viewers. They have always understood things when I explain it to them. But there's going to be some buffoonery from people who are non-viewers, who are just going to sort of jump around and say, it's an infrastructure bill, there's no stimulus in it. No, fool, you're looking at the wrong one. There's 2 paths. There is no 2 paths, there's just 1 path. No, there's 2 paths. I never heard about the 2 paths. I saw the president stand there. There's no 2 paths. No, you didn't listen right. There's 1 path here and there's 1 path there. I don't understand that. You're wrong. I just sense that that's what's going to happen. Now, journalists are understanding it. Financial markets are understanding. I saw financial news channels this morning. They understood that there was 2 paths. They talked about the 2 paths. They referred to it in simple words, by the reconciliation and the bipartisan. Those are the 2 words they're using, or they call it bipartisan, the infrastructure. So they understood it. But I think that some people who don't want to take the time to watch a video or listen to the news may not understand it and immediately jump into a realm of negativity or false information. Now, here's a very fast, as we're talking about false narratives, here's a wonderful positive narrative. We're now seeing indication that this recon part has a lot more money in this for American people than we ever thought. That the progressives have really almost created almost like a fort, like a brick fort around the recon now. And so now that everything that was potentially, under fire in recon, now with that fort around the recon, they're talking about big items and big checks. So there's a lot of checks in there. So there you go. Finally, can they do this all in July? Yeah, they can do this all in July. And there you go. Now, Purple Power push. You have to be pushing. And who do you push with? All your Democratic senators. All your Democratic senators, every single one of them. And then the progressives. I mean, you really have to stay with those progressives. They have to hold their ground. The progressives have final say because, remember, it goes to the House last. And those progressives in the House, trust me, they will step up in arms if the senators try to throw them under the bus, which they're not going to. You have a lot of senators like Bernie Sanders who are progressives, and they're going to fight tooth and nail to ensure everything is in there. And so with that, thank you for joining me on this extended afternoon's broadcast. Coming up next is Evenings LA, and then after that is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video. I'll automatically take you into Evenings LA right after this, in about 7 seconds after the video is over. But subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon, and I'll see you next on Evenings LA.